Today on Hopped Up Beer Review, we're going to be reviewing the Blood and Honey Texas Ale from Revolver Brewing Company of Granbury, Texas. Thank you for joining us. Howdy there, partners. Welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer we are drinking and reviewing. Be sure to like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell, as well as check us out on social media. Links are below in the description. Come say hey on Discord. We would love to see you there as well. I've got Andy in the attic. I've got Jay. I am Ben. What are we drinking today, gentlemen?
We're going to Granbury, Texas, and we're going to have the Revolver Brewing Blood and Honey, a Texas ale. I'm excited. Let's try this.
Yeehaw.
I love the description of it, so I'm highly curious what the taste is.
So as we're pouring this out, I want to say a very special thank you to our friend Michael, who lives in Texas and got these for us to review. So thank you, Michael. Definitely cheers for that. We definitely appreciate it and are excited to give this a shot.
And to encourage anyone who wants us to drink beer and review it, to send us free beer.
We're always accepting donations and test subjects or test articles, I guess.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates. Has a great aroma there.
You really pick out the honey
and the spice.
Yeah. It didn't say what the spices were.
Yeah, it's definitely a very spicy beer for sure.
That clove?
Yeah, I think there's a little clove in there, a little nutmeg. Mm-hmm. Maybe it might just be allspice or something like that.
Could be. Yeah.
I think what you're tasting there, though, according to the can here, is the unfiltered Pride.
Oh gosh, every time. See, and I'm only used to filtered Pride.
Exactly.
Taking that.
I mean, I don't know. We could probably have a whole show debate on whether you want your Pride filtered or unfiltered. And I'm sure there are people that fall in both camps.
And out of Texas, they don't filter anything.
They don't.
So this is 7%, 20 IBUs, and an SRM of 6.
Wow.
Thank you, Revolver, for including the SRM for us.
That's awesome.
For when we nerd out to know how much light can get through our beer. So it's a golden ale. It's American pale wheat beer, and malted 2-row barley and wheat, blood orange zest, and honey from Texas, and of course the spices.
And the unfiltered Pride.
It is Texas. There's a lot of pride out there. So, Revolver Brewing, it's a macro. Technically, it's owned by Molson Coors, so it's part of the conglomerate. As started in 2012. Granbury is about 35 miles southwest of Fort Worth, and how far west, how far south? I don't know. I didn't look it up on a map. That's just what they say. But I guess their business model, their design, inspired by the 1847 Colt Walker revolver.
Nice. It's interesting that their Molson Coors product, this is the first I've seen or heard of them. I mean, obviously the distribution's not tremendous. I don't know if you guys have seen it, and being a state or two over. I mean,
no, I mean, I go to Dallas on a fairly regular basis for the job that I do that has nothing to do with Hopped Up Beer Review. So And when I do, I mean, this stuff is obviously all over the place. And so I've had this one on draft. I've had this one, out of the can. I've had it out of the bottle. So I've had this one a few times. And I remember I visited Michael on one occasion, and we went to a restaurant, and he was like, this is one you've got to try. So, so definitely thankful that he sent it over to us to actually review. Which is makes it makes it fun.
Greatly appreciate it. I've been through
Yeah.
Houston many times. I travel through there a good bit, and I just haven't encountered it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Different regions. So
I only travel to Dallas, so I don't travel to other parts of Texas. So definitely there.
I've been Houston and College Station both this year, and I don't recall seeing it. So that's what, it could have been an oversight on my part. The logo is something you would remember, though, is what I would see, and I imagine that their taps are probably incorporate that somehow.
That's what I was about to say. Their tap handles also, at least the ones I've seen, definitely have the revolver logo there on them. So definitely some cool tap handles. So I'm gonna go ahead and step on a limb here and say I'm probably the only one that's had this.
Yes.
All right. Well, which one of you wants to go first then?
I'll do it. I'm glad he got you this beer. It's interesting adding the spice, and you get that little citrus and the honey. The honey comes, the spice of course hits you, but you can definitely feel the honey. It's definitely sweet, but it tastes like a more of a winter style beer, more this time of year, with that citrus and that spice. So it's kind of very appropriate. It's in the we're holiday seasons technically, so I like it. I would drink it. It's 7%. It doesn't feel very strong, but it doesn't feel light. And I guess it's like a mid-range feel and how heavy it feels. But I'm going to give this an 8.0. I mean, this is something you grab a 6-pack of this, and you kind of like hate to finish it off, because depending on how soon you can get it again. So really good.
What you think, Jay?
Not the same as Andy. It's interesting to me. I think you're probably right. It could be a definite winter type beer, cold weather beer for sure. I think this is too complex. I think they're trying too hard and have too much going on with this. I mean, it's got citrus, it's got honey, it's got spices, it's a wheat ale. I'm struggling with it, and maybe I'm too much of a simpleton sometimes, or too simplistic. But it's not there for me. I think I might have to get 6.5.
Okay.
There's that unfrozen caveman beer reviewer again.
I haven't matured enough. Yeah, I mean,
your strange complex beers confuse me.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand. I think this is probably one of their leaders for their top sellers, but it has a lot going on. It's very complex, and to dissect it, I just can't put my finger on it. What they're just different aspects that don't agree with my palate. And not to say, I mean, Andy, obviously they do with yours. So and I would bet that on Untapped, this is probably has done very well. So, but everybody's a little different.
Yeah, and you mentioned something interesting there that I wanted to touch on. That when I see a Revolver beer and there's only one, it's typically this one.
Right.
And that's probably a very small sample size, right? I mean, I haven't been to that many places in the Dallas area, but the times that I go and I see, Revolver, this is definitely the one that is available.
You got to look at it another way too. They started in 2012 and they're already owned by Molson Coors. So they didn't have a tremendous timeline of build up before they sold out. So I'm sure they had a small sample size or one or two really key core beers that helped them sell the cores.
All right, I'm going to fall somewhere in the middle. This is one that, though I've had several times, it's one that, for me, I think that it really kind of reminds me of the very first beer review that we did on this channel, and I would say probably don't go watch it because we're all trying to it's lame now. I mean, don't go watch the first video because
It was gold, baby.
It's
That
even
was
worse.
awesome.
Solid gold.
So,
It still has
but-
one of the most reviews, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. But that was the King Cake Ale, and I'm getting at is that spice, right? The spice on this, for me, comes through more so than the honey or really anything else. I do get a little bit of the orange peel on the back end, so I can pull that out. But I kind of lean more with Jay on this than I do Andy, in the sense that there's a lot going on in this beer, and I think it leads it to trying to find an identity. Trying to really make it into something, and it's hard to do that for me. I like it. I've had it several times. I'll have it several more times. I like it, I think, a little bit better on draft, as we usually say. Beers are usually better on draft. It comes through a little bit, I think, more balanced than maybe it does out of the can here. But it's a good beer. I'm going to give it a 7. All right, that's going to give us a 7.2 for the. Are you okay with that? You got allergies or snifters or? Yeah. 7.2 for the Blood and Honey from Revolver Brewing out of Granbury, Texas. So definitely, as Jay said, an interesting, complex beer. This one probably has a little bit of something for just about everybody to go and try to pull out. If you like trying to pull out all the different things in a beer, this is a fun one to try and see if you can pull those things out. The Unfiltered Pride, again, is really what you're going for, though, to pull out of this one, because it's there. So definitely give it a shot. Again, we want to say extra special thank you to our buddy Michael for getting this one to us. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you, Michael. Sure, like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell. Check us out on social media. Come say hey on Discord. If you've watched the show, you've heard all that before. So, just fast forward past that part, because I know you've done it. For Andy in the attic and Jay, I am Ben. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.